My journals are a space where paper, glue and art supplies meet reflection. I play with watercolour doodles, collage, vintage papers and whatever inspires me in the moment. If you're looking for inspiration or just want a peek into my creative journey, please join me as I document life, thoughts and memories, one page at a time. And today we're going to look at a couple of ways of disguising your writing in your journals. So if you want some ideas on how to keep prying eyes away from your innermost thoughts and feelings, then please do join me for today's video. Hi everyone, welcome to Hilltop View Journals and welcome back to my ongoing Junk Journal with Me series. I'm so excited to share my personal approach to junk journaling, combining my passion for making junk journals with my daily journaling routines. This isn't a how-to guide with every video, rather I'll be showing you how I do things and what works for me, by sharing my creativity, experimentation and a love for handmade books, and I hope that I will sprinkle a little bit of inspiration along the way. Let's start by making a tip-in, and what I'm going to do is use a template. So it's just a piece of packaging paper, and you can see here it's 10 centimeters across, which is 3 7/8 inches, and then it's approximately 22.5 centimeters long by 8 3/4 inches long. And I've made a template so that I can easily mass make. What I'm just going to do for now is just cut a strip all the way down here so I can make this manageable. And I will link a masterboard tutorial if you've never made a masterboard before. And if you're unsure what they are, they're basically a sheet of paper or scrap or anything you can get your hands on, and then you put different pieces of scrap on them. So I've got a couple more examples. Here I've got one leftover piece that is neutral and another one that's neutral there. So I'll use these neutral ones for my sketchbook journal because they do match a little bit better. And then I'm going to use these blue pieces for my blue signatures, which are my daily journals. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is straighten up this edge here. And then it'll be easier to work with. And it's straightish. Okay, and we'll cut this down. And let's work with this. Now what I need to do is I need to cover this writing here. So this page here I need to cover, because what I want to do is be able to do a flip through but not share my personal thoughts. Don't really want to share them to the world. When I'm gone I won't care. But for now, I'd like to cover them. And I've measured mine so that it's the height of my signature, but then about, let's have a look. It's about 2 centimeters, which is about 3/4 of an inch higher, because I like things sticking out. And because mine is going to flip like this, just like that, I want to round the top but not the bottom. If my pages were rounded, then I would round this side as well, just to make it match in, but I'm just going to round the tops. I could make this into a tag shape if I wanted to, but I'm just going to round the top. So actually I will do the back first. Let's do the back first and then round the top. I've got some tea stain paper and I'm just gluing in the middle, leaving the edges because I will stitch. Now, I would normally cut all the way across there, but because I'm doing a tip in, I'm going to leave a piece. And that's going to be my folded piece. Now I just need to check what size my folded piece needs to be. So just slightly less than that, so pop it down a little bit. And so when I'm writing in my journal, and of course while I'm writing, I am thinking, gosh, I will want to share this online, and that is maybe one of the downsides of doing a journal with me series. I do need to think about what I'm writing on the page. So if I need to vent and I know I'm not going to want to share that, then the easiest thing for me to do is to leave a space at the bottom of the page, so I could do something like this flip in. That's not straight, is it? But it's not too bad. Yeah, so I can do a flip in, and I know then I've got that space that I can use when I want to cover up my writing. So I don't want to cover up my writing permanently. I just don't want it to be on view for the whole world to see, because you don't know who's out there and who will see what. And I'm not embarrassed by some of my struggles for sure, and I'm happy to share my struggles, but I would rather share them with the people that I know I can trust. And of course, I'm sure I could trust the majority of the viewers watching this, and because they're interested in how I'm journaling, but you never know who's out there. And you can't always assume that everybody is as genuine as you. And perhaps there's the odd swear word here and there that some people wouldn't appreciate if they read. Or I might even vent about something that's work related that might be confidential. After all, that's what my journal is for. Okay, so I have got this now. So hopefully it will look okay when I pop it in. Keep on losing the page. So I will glue it like that, and you could actually even create another pocket there if you so desire. So it's just going to flip like that. And what we need to do now is we need to decorate this and make it look pretty. No, actually it's pretty as it is, let's be honest. These pages are lovely. And I need to put a little tag on there, and then that is as much as I want to do on this one. So let's go and grab some embellishments to make this a little bit more beautiful again. I'm going to keep the embellishing as flat as possible because I want this to go into the journal now. And all I'm going to do then is use this little doodle, and I will link the video to that doodle, and I'll just write that down so I remember. And so I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a border. So I like that, and I did wonder whether I could perhaps put that little bit of lace there like that. So we'll chop some of that off. So that will go there. And I think I need a little bit more around the edge. So I'm going to ink this. I'm leaving it nice and scrappy. So I think what I'll do is tear some off. I don't really want too much, as I don't want to cover the nice paper underneath. Okay, so let's just glue some of that down. Okay, so that's giving a nice little bit of a contrast. I can pop that back there and that there. There, so that looks better to me now. Bit of a faff, I know, but it's, yes, I like that it's got a little bit of that. So I just need to skim that tiny little piece off because it was annoying me. And what I will do is stitch around here, and I'm going to pop this on with a bit of glue, just like that there, and then I will just stitch around there, remembering to leave that piece open. And I've changed my mind, and I'm going to add a little bit more card to it to give it more backing. I quite like this cream card, or cream page I should say. It's from a book. Okay, now I'm going to use, which I forgot to do earlier, so I think I'll use a little bit of glue stick to glue this down into place, just a bit in the middle. And I'm going to quickly sand this. If I can find my sanding block. So this is what it's turned out like, and I'm going to glue that in place nice and quickly. And I've got a little sentiment here which I thought would go nice towards the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that, nice and scrappy. And then I'm going to pop this in. So I'm just going to glue the bottom. I'm not going to make a pocket out of it, but I think it'd make a good pocket. So that's idea number one, which is to have a sort of, let's call it a tip up. And the only thing I need to do now is put a little piece of material there, I think. And I am going to just use a piece of this. Maybe not so scrappy. And I don't want it too tall. And I'm going to simply staple it in place. And that will be absolutely fine to write on. And now I don't have to worry. It's there. And of course, if I wanted to make it a little bit more permanent, I could add a pretty little on the side there like that. So that will keep it in place. And then you could hang a very nice dangle by there as well. That's idea number one. Vellum is also a really good option if you want to cover your writing but still see the writing. I hope that does make sense. So imagine that you've got, like I've got here, a page of writing and I haven't left any space on the page to stick anything to, so I can't do a tip in or a flip out or anything because I'd end up having to cover the actual words. What you can do is use vellum as your tip in. And what I'm going to do is cut this down just to size for a second. And then I'm going to just make it just a little bit smaller on the bottom because it's slightly covering the edge. So I just want to rip it a little bit. Just a slither. And I think I might just do the top as well. And what I'm going to do then is fold this. So that will give us our flip or tip in or whatever you want to call it. I never know what to call them. A tip in, I suppose, comes in that way and a flip goes that way. So this is, I guess, a flip. So, okay, you can leave as much space as you want on this side. And I'm going to use this then as the base to work on, and I'm just going to create a really simple collage. And I'm going to rip that like that, and I'm going to make it a little bit less neat, I suppose, is what I'm trying to think of. There we are. And then you want to gather some materials to add to it. So let's have a look what I've got here. First thing I'm going to do is stamp around the vellum, and I've got Stays On Timber Brown. Just going to pop some stamping. Just random. Okay, that'll do nicely. And let's have a look. So I've just got some random bits of scraps here. And I just want to make, I don't want to cover all of the vellum. I don't think there's any need. I just want to make sure that my writing is not too visible. I'm just going to pop these on the page.
When the storm is moving in, goes dark and you feel the wind, too much weight just holds you down, waiting for the calm to come around. And you harbor all your tears, your disbeliefs and fears. You will rise above, know that you are strong, though the road is long. There is always love to carry you home. Home. When there's no solid ground, walls are closing in, and you hear the sound of your heartbeat through your chest. Oh, your head is spinning, you can't find no rest, and you harbor all your tears, your disbeliefs and fears. And you will rise above, know that you are strong, though the road is long. There is always love to carry you home. Home. To carry you home.
Okay, so on the back it looks like that. Now I don't mind that on the back at all. You could cover that if you wanted to, and then you could have more writing space on there, or you could just write on that as it is. And what you need to decide then is what you're going to put in the middle. And I've got a couple of ideas here. So I've got this flower like that, or you could do something like a playing card. So this is what the pack looks like. It's called Wildflowers, the famous Wildflowers playing cards by the Heritage playing cards. I got these off Amazon. So I could use something like that. I do quite like that there. You could add some fabric. You could do all sorts to this. Just wondering if I need any more pieces. It's quite nice there. So I quite like that. So let's pop that on. And I'm just going to distress this a little bit, just to mask those finer bits that I don't feel like I can fussy cut. Of course I could use one of my doodles here. I'll just show you what I've got. Have I got anything smallish? Oh yeah. I could add that there if I wanted to, but no, I'll use that. And possibly a nice little piece of fabric. Okay, I think I like that. I think I'll use glue stick on that. And before I put anything down, I need to think about whether I want to stitch. I don't think I do. This needs to come down a bit, like that. That. So any type of collage. And you could rough up these edges a little bit more, but I think I'll just ink them. And I've purposely done this really flat, so again I can put it straight in my journal. Let's just check the back again. So there we are. So you could very easily journal over that. And then what I need to do is move these a little bit. And let's glue this in place. So vellum can be a little bit tricky to glue, and what you need to do is just be patient with it and wait for the glue to dry. And you could make the flip anyway. You could do it from the top, the bottom, either side. And there you go. So that's a really nice way to keep your page hidden from normal view, but you're still able to look back and read it at a later date. And the other thing you could do as well is you could put some kind of closure here, which maybe is a nice idea. I'm not going to do it now because it'll be too bulky for me to write in, but I may come along and do that. And yeah, I'm sure there's a way that we can add a closure to that, so I'll have a think about that. But that is just another little idea for covering your writing. So my last idea today for adding some coverage in your journal is to make a removable belly band and a journaling card. So I've got a template here again, and it is 9.5 centimeters wide by 3 3/4 inches. And then the length is 20 centimeters, which is 7 by 7/8 of an inch. And I'm going to use my strip, or my snippet roll, I should say, and I'll add that to my little list to give you the link to the snippet roll video. Okay, and so all I'm going to do is wrap this around a page. So you kind of get 2 for 1 on this idea. It's probably an idea to make it just a little bit bigger than you need. So it needs to be snug, but not too snug that you can't pull it on and off. So I need this to be that size there. So let's chop that down. I have to make some more of this now. I've hardly got any left. Of course, it's very easy once you've got a snippet roll like this, is to just put things together really quickly. And I think what I might do is cut this little bit off here. And then I can glue that together like that. Or I might actually glue it like that actually, because I think it'll glue better this way. You could always add a little bit of washi tape. That took a while to get out. Okay, so that is my removable belly band. And now you can put anything you like on this. If this was a plain belly band, then perhaps I would do something like add a envelope on top of it. But I think that'll be a bit of a shame, because then I'd be covering up all this lovely juicy scraps. But that would be an idea, and then you could do a nice collage, and that would still be quite flat, and you could have some hidden journaling inside as well. So maybe we'll do that another time. But for this one, I'm just going to make a journaling card. So I have measured mine so that it should fit within the belly band. So I just pop this back on. Just like that. And that fits nicely like that. So what I'm going to do now is get some papers to make a journaling card and get some cardstock as well. I've cut a little piece of scrap down, and I am going to glue a digital kit page, and I will find the link to that for you. So I'm going to cover this shiny side. And I'm going to leave that plain because I think that's absolutely fine, and I can write on this as well, which is great. Okay, so I really like the look of that. And I'm going to do a very simple collage. So I've just got some scrap bits of paper. I think actually I prefer the less shiny side. And some labels, which I believe are pink monarch prints. And just do something really, really simple. And shall we have a little bit of fabric there? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I quite like the vintage colour coming through. Now I don't like that bit there. It's funny what bugs people, isn't it? I think I could put that on the top actually. I quite like that on the top. I just wanted to pop that there. Just like that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And let's glue these into place. And I might just do a bit of a stitch around there, I think, just to give it a little bit of texture. I added a piece of brown paper on the back just to make it easier to hold under the sewing machine, and actually it's probably a good idea as well for gluing to have something in the back there. And I also stitched around this piece of card and then did some messy stitching on the top there. And I just want to maybe glue that a little bit as well. Oh, and then we can just glue this in place. So again, that's nice and flat. So I think I'll have it higher. I don't particularly want it in the middle. And then use a little bit of glue stick for the material. And I'm hoping that will fit in there. Probably it won't, no, so I'm going to have to cut it down a bit. Yep, that fits nice and snugly. A little bit too snugly, I think. I should have stitched it a bit lower. There we go. So that fits in there like that. And then, of course, you could put a little flower there like that, I think. So let's have a look. What kind of flower do I want? This one will work just fine. Let's keep that in place. So there we have our final idea, which is a removable belly band and a journaling card. I really do hope you've enjoyed some of the ideas that I've shared today for covering up your writing in your journals. And the reason why I wanted to do this was because I want to share my personal journaling experience with you, but I don't always want to share my innermost thoughts, feelings, fears, and choice of words at times, and my whinging and moaning, and all the things that go along with putting down through your pen onto paper how your days are going and how you're feeling. So these are just a couple of ideas. I've got lots more to come as well, which I will hope to share with you in other videos. But I would like to leave you now with mentioning another YouTube artist who shares a lot of her journaling on Instagram and YouTube, and that's Meg Journals. Meg is an inspiration to me. And she creates personal junk journals and demonstrates how to use them and fill them as part of her daily practice. She uses quotes and does quite a bit of writing in her journals, but it's mainly based on collage, and she just does wonderful, wonderful pages. So with her focus on mixed media and collage, she uses delicate florals and vintage ephemera, and she also offers a Journal with Me video, beginner tutorials, and is most famous for her prompt-based series Junk Journal January and Junk Journal July, which also features her personal journaling as well as collaborations with other creators. She now also has a YouTube podcast called Crafternoon Podcast with Daisy from My Green Cow, and they explore all things art and journaling. It's a really good listen and watch as it's filmed over on YouTube. So I will leave links in my description for the podcast and also to Meg Journals. And that's all I have to share today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.
To carry you home when the ocean is too deep. Your compass to stay. Your dreams are out of reach. When all your faith is gone and you just can't go on, there is always love to carry you home. To carry you home. To carry you home. All the way home. Home. When the storm is moving in, the sky goes dark and you feel the wind. Too much weight just holds you down, waiting for the calm.